Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode on the Not Today Derek podcast. I'm Wade Hobber, and as I promised, my commitment to you, I'm bringing you inspirational stories, real people, roads to riches, rises to redemption, incredible stories. And today's no exception. I have an amazing guest, father of two, professional boxer, Australian champion, from commission to championships. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you the magic man himself, Mr. Mark Schleibs.
Thank you, Wade. Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
Thanks for jumping on, brother. It means a lot you've been here.
Yeah,
Northern suburbs, boy.
yeah, just like yourself, man. I appreciate it. I've been watching closely. I love your content. I love what you're doing for the people, especially the people from the northern suburbs. And I'm glad to be here today and share my story.
Means a lot, brother. And to kick us off, I've got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who is Mark Schleibs?
Look, Mark Schleibs is a little Filipino kid that refused to be average. I always had big dreams. Even when I was a little kid, I didn't want to be just anyone. And I firmly believe that I was going to do something or be something, and that's something that I've constantly I'm still trying to prove. You know what I mean? So. Along my journey, I've gone up, I've gone down. I've hit a lot of lows as well. But the rise of of getting over those hurdles and persevering has led me here.
So that mindset, that's a strong mindset. What was it like growing up? So Reservoir boy?
Yeah, look, I grew up in Preston first. I was born in the Philippines, and I was adopted, right? So for people that don't know, I'm half Saudi Arabian, half Filipino, right? So that's a very unique mix. But unfortunately, in the Philippines, my mum, she fell pregnant, and my father went back to Saudi Arabia. And, there was, my mum didn't go to Saudi Arabia. Long story short, she didn't go. So she had to have me alone, right? So this is kind of upbringing, and from the start, it was always going to be hard for me, right? For not having a father, my mum away because she wasn't married in the Philippines. It's pretty bad because she's the devoted Catholics, so she couldn't tell her parents that she was pregnant. So she had to work interstate, wash clothes, sell clothes, be a house girl. She was in Manila, in the capital city of Philippines, and
Poverty.
She, like I said, she was a house girl, so did whatever she could to, get by.
To survive.
On the streets. And she had like a little 1-bedroom apartment for herself. And, she had to do it all by herself. She had no support. So she had to have me alone as well in a private hospital. And over there in the Philippines, their hospitals are like the American system. So once you run out of money, mate, they kick you out. They don't care if you die. They don't, that's it, mate. So, and so when she had me, I came out feet first. So there was a problem in the pregnancy. So she was struggling to push me out because I was coming out feet first, not head first. So
You came out running.
Yeah, she almost died.
Yeah.
So in that process, they said, "Nah, we can't help you." And then my mum told me this story of my uncle threatening the doctor, saying, "If you let her die, I'm going to kill you." Right? So they went through with it, and obviously I come out, and my mum had me and whatever. But it didn't get any easier from my mum, because once she had me, obviously she had no support. She had no one there, only my uncle and my mum. And then the first year of my life, I got sent back to the province, which is like the comparison of, in the bush, like, kind of like half jungle, half town. So I went back with my Lula, who's my grandmother, and lived with them because I had all my family there, my cousins, my aunties, my uncles, everyone was there. So the first year of my life, my mum had to support me interstate, being a house girl, and not see me for the first year of my life. So when, as you get older, you start to realize, and you have kids of your own, how hard that truly is. And you think, fuck, man, that's painful. Like, for her to be so strong by herself and, be able to still do what she had to do just to make sure I lived, you know what I mean? So,
and you're here now.
I'm here now, man. From that kind of start to be here, I'm truly thankful for God,
Amen.
Amen.
Now, all these experiences, they shape us. So formative years, your back's up against it from the start.
Yeah, that's right.
Odds are heavily stacked against you. You'd say that, yeah?
Yeah, look, I'll come here when I was about 4. My stepfather, Philip Schleibs, he adopted me, but he was a rough man, you know what I mean? Like my mum.
What area is this? So where
this
you
is
moved
Preston. So I lived in Preston, Oakover Road, for people that don't know, next to the tram depot, next to the Preston Market. And we lived in the bungalow when I first come to Australia. So, from the Philippines to Australia, it was a bit of a difference for me, but I was quite fresh. I didn't speak English. My mum didn't speak English. But look, my dad, with him, I struggle with my dad because there's a thing that I found out, right? So when my dad was quite abusive towards me, and he was pretty hard on my mum, but he was an alcoholic, right? So my mum didn't know this when he was in the Philippines and whatever, but he did a lot of jail, 20 years of jail all up, and he was robbing banks, and so he was a really old school kind of, knockabout bloke, you know what I mean? So I saw a lot, I heard a lot from when I was very young, told all the time that I was nothing and I would be nothing, and
How did that shape you?
It shaped me. It actually made me very angry because I had so much love. You know what I mean? But coming from the Philippines, where we're loving people, we love helping people, we love being happy. Even though, my family where we originated, they had nothing, man. They'd share their last meal together, whether it's 2 people, 10 people, it didn't matter. They'd eat just rice if that's all they had, right? Someone would go beg and someone would go hunt and whatever, and they all bring it back and we'll eat together. So, but yeah, it made me feel unworthy. It really used to hurt my heart. Like, it used to sadden me because, again, like I said, I had so much love, so much joy to share, but I was getting negative energy towards me all the time.
So in the Philippines, you might not be abundant with material things.
Yeah.
But you had an abundance of love, care, support.
Huge love, and that the thing of laughter, like I said, authentic love as well. It's not just like, oh yeah, this person's important, treat them well. It didn't matter, So whether it's your grandmother, it's all about respect to your elders and whatnot. So again, you learn gratitude very early when you're in the Philippines.
So now you're in Preston.
Mm.
You're under the roof of a chaotic environment. Yeah. How does that shape young Mark? What's young Mark? Is young Mark angry?
Yeah, I'm more confused, very angry. From a very young age, I could remember I had a lot of dark thoughts because of the way he would word things and call me you fucking, like when you're a little kid, man, you go you fucking dog. Like when you're getting told things like that, you're like, man, you don't even know. I don't even know. Like the first day of school, right? I went to Bell Primary, and this is one thing. This sums up my old man, right? I was late. I wasn't late to school, but I was having cornflakes. I didn't want to have breakfast, right? And he goes, eat your breakfast. Anyway, I said, Dad, can we just go to school? And he just grabbed me by the head and just dunked my face into the bowl. I would have been 5 years old, man. 5 years old, little kid, and again, the milk went on my jumper and my new uniform, and he's like, "See what you fucking done, cunt." And it's like, what did I do, man? And it's like, it just confuses you because you're like, fuck, man, what did I do? So then you kind of get in that mindset, especially from that age, you're constantly afraid to fuck up, like you don't want to mess up because you're going to get clipped or you're going to get fucking, shouted at, like in a way where it's like not.
You're constantly in fight or flight.
Yeah, fight or flight. And, it's just a shit feeling. It's just a shit, being scared is a shit feeling.
unique to you though, for a lot of people. I worked in youth justice for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And that is a similar story.
Yeah.
Across all the young boys. That environment is a dream breaker.
Yeah.
It instills you from a young age, you're not good enough, you're
Yeah.
inferior. This Derek talk, self-talk of limiting beliefs becomes established from that young age.
Yeah.
Dream breakers. But it didn't break your dream, did it?
Nah, well, everything that, he used to do to me, or, he abused my mum, but I'd always wonder, I said, Mum, why did we come here? Why'd you pick him? You know what I mean? And she'd always say to me, Mark, she never lied to me. She said, Mark, I did this for you. Don't get me wrong, my mum loved my dad, but it was to give me an opportunity at a better life as well. Because my old man, this is going back now. So he had a kid in Philippines before he adopted me. And now that kid, he tried to bring to Australia, right? So he couldn't bring him, and that kid died. So this is what I found out later as I got older, what happened with his son, right? And his son was named Francis after his dad. So his kid died, and then he adopted me, you see? So all that pain of him losing his kid, he put on me. So that's where, the forgiveness side of things come. But I didn't understand that. So I copped all the trauma, the pain that he had in his heart of losing his son, because his ex tested for TB and he couldn't bring him here. So,
And you flipped the script on that. So you're obviously extremely resilient.
Yeah.
You've learnt to fight very young.
Yeah.
And your mum has shown you not only the power of being a parent,
yeah,
but the importance of having a strong why.
Yeah.
Something that makes you push beyond anything. You were her why.
Yeah, 100%.
So what happens then to get you into the boxing?
The boxing, look, from Preston, we went to West Heidelberg, right? So we went from the bungalow to the commission flats. So, and look, my experience with the flats, obviously everyone has a kind of, they've got this look on the flats. It's always bad. Like, don't get me wrong, it was bad. But when you're a kid and, you grow up with the other kids in the streets and, you're playing soccer, like the world's simple, man. You got Tarzos, you're playing Beyblade. That's what you care about. You don't even really give, you know what I mean? All the politics sides of things and even the drugs and all that kind of stuff, you don't know. You're unaware of it, So, like, I just knew when I was walking around in West Heidelberg, I had to be aware. That street smart kicks in very young when you are around that. And when you do grow up in those areas, you see that junkie, oh, fuck, he's bad. You better walk away. I'll walk the other way, walk the long way. So, yeah, I grew up in West Heidelberg, and again, my old man, instead of taking me to school, he goes, you walk to school. He showed me once, all right, this is how you get to school. Walk home, and again.
So you're independent at a very young age.
You got to be independent. Yeah, I had to be, again, and then, being in the country very early as well, only a couple of years in, it's like sink or swim. So, yeah, I love the flats, and that's why, I'm here today to share my story for everyone that has come from the flats or is still in the flats that want to, relate to someone that has done that, gone the bad road and gone the good road, So with my boxing.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So you're out of there.
Yeah.
So what got you into the gym? You started training.
So with my training, being sorry, I went off topic. Being in West Heidelberg, I was picked on a little bit, right? And I knew, because my old man was pretty aggressive, and he used to give me a hiding here and there. I was like, man, I hate being weak. I don't want to be scared no more. So it was more for me to be like, hey, I got to do something about it. And at a very young age, I was like, man, no one else is going to fucking do it for me. I got no one else to fall on other than maybe if I tell my dad, he's going to back, but at school, as you know, at school, you go to school and there'd be kids that don't like you, and I was, I don't know, it's not like I'm unlikable, but unfortunately, where I grew up in West Heidelberg, there was kids that would bully you. You know what I mean?
You stood out.
Yeah, I stood out. You know, and
Immigrant family.
yeah, and I got bullied once in grade 1. Grade 6 knocked me out, and it was funny, right? It was following me around. And I was like, mate, fuck off, you know, leave me alone. Like, you know, he goes, and he corked me. I said, mate, touch me again, I'll knock you out. And I had a loopy mouth, man, even though I was a little kid, because of my dad, you know. Anyway, I woke up in the teacher's arms. I got suspended, and I was like, fuck, man, I gotta do something, you know. So my mates, I went to primary school. We moved from West Heidelberg to Reservoir, and then from Reservoir, again, you know, we're in the commission house now, so upgraded, but went to Reservoir East, and then my mate's sister took us to the gym. So she took us to the gym once a week, every Wednesday.
That's a big moment. You don't realise at the time.
Yeah.
But we talk about these fork in the road moments, these moments that change the trajectory of your life, change your destiny.
Yeah.
So your friend's sister has done something that's completely altered your future reality. Just one decision. She takes you to the gym.
It's huge. And that's something, you know, I'm always going to be grateful for. So, you know, she took us to the gym, and I didn't even know how to catch the tram, you know, and then unfortunately she had to, you know, she got married and whatnot. And then the 2 other boys that I was training with, they stopped training, but I kept training. But then I learned how to catch the tram and all that kind of stuff. And then I used to catch a tram, and then.
Is this where your dream starts to be born?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
From
so
here?
I started at 11, you know, 11, 12, I started catching the tram, and then I started training 3 times a week. You know, once a week wasn't enough. And I did a little bit of sparring partner work. I was getting beat up. And the guys that I was training with at the gym, they were beating me. And I was like, nah, I got to beat them. So I was telling them, we used to go to the same days. So I started going on extra days. And then I started getting more fitter than them. And I was, you know, and they're like, oh, are you going to the gym more than us? I said, yeah. And they're like, oh, you
so
didn't
you're
tell us.
Highly competitive, very young.
Yeah, very competitive from a young age. Like I said, from my upbringing, I didn't want to be average. I always thought, you know what, why can't I do it? Why can't I be that guy? You know, it didn't matter how big you were. I didn't fear. I had no fear from a young age. Like I wanted to be the man, you know. So
what was the dream there?
The dream was just to be the best version of myself, really, to master boxing. I just love boxing. I love being, you know, the art of boxing, the training aspect of it, you know, just training and proving everyone wrong. And, you know, we'd go for runs. You know, I'm 13. I'm training with AFL players, you know, trying to keep up with them. They're going, oh, come on, Marky, go, Marky. You know, doing the circuits pre-season and training 6 days a week.
Was it deeper as well? Was there a part of you? I see you're a great partner and father. But everything that was going under your roof, are you stepping up as the protector?
Yeah, look, with my mum, you could say that in a way, because I was preparing myself for my dad. You know what I mean? To finally not be scared of him one day. You know, I'd go home. My peace was the gym, and that's why I'd stay at the gym. I'd be there, the first kid at the gym, last one out. You know, I'd be, fuck, mate, because I was getting a pat on the back. People were like in awe of my resilience and my attitude, because I was focusing all my energy in trying to get, not praise, but it felt good, man. It felt good when people were like, hey, and you know, you had a guest on just the other day, Joel Brown. We trained at the same gym, and like he said, you know, we had judges, gangsters, cops, all train at the same gym. You know, you put your $2 in, write your name, and no, you know, there was no talking. You train. Everyone had to train hard, otherwise you get off the bag. And it was just that environment it was such a unique environment. Northside Boxing Gym is probably one of the best places, you know, I could ever be. I could have ever landed on.
What were the lessons that it really instilled in you?
The lessons was what you can do if you push yourself. You know, if you really, really push through the pain mentally, you push through the pain physically, it's like, you know, the sessions there weren't easy, man. And if you couldn't do it, well, fuck off. You know, it's like, it's kind of like, but again, the brotherhood that you created, again, you know, I did work experience with a judge. His name is John, you know, because he loved watching me spar, and he loved watching me train. He goes, Mark, you remind me of Muhammad Ali. And then, you know, I had work experience, and I go, John, I want to be a lawyer. He goes, well, come on then, I'll help you. I'll take you there. If you want to do it, Mark, I can help you, you know. And these people that you come across, it's so rare outside of the gym to come across. You know, you can't, you know, you got to book an appointment, mate. You got to pay top dollar to go meet with a judge and have a yarn, you know. So again, at that young age, I wasn't aware fully of who I was speaking to. It was just nice to have that kind of.
And we're not aware what it's preparing us for. So let's go off topic. Imagine you were into video games growing up.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
You know, each level that you go through, the game just gets harder and harder as it progressively goes.
Yeah.
It's a great analogy for life.
Yeah.
Every new thing that comes up, the stakes get higher, the difficulty gets harder, but everything that we've done leading up to that next level has prepared us for what we're about to undergo. Home life's very difficult. It prepares you and it puts you into boxing, right? Boxing gives you a set of skills that now older Mark starts to encounter new issues, new problems under your own roof. Do you want to talk about that a bit? Because I saw a video.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll get the clip up. Do you mind if I get the clip up?
Worries, man.
My backstory, I was away from my young blokes for 12 months.
Yeah.
And I've known you growing up. And I see this clip come up. I'll put it up. If you're listening on Spotify, I'll put a snippet up. This video of you comes up and it hits home.
Yeah.
Because I've had family members that have been hit with mental health.
Yeah.
I've had parental alienation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show the audience.
9 months without my kid, crying every day before training. You know, my mum in and out of the psych ward, looking after her. So just a lot of relief, you know. Obviously on the No Limit platform, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of family, friends, fans watching. So, you know, we risk it all to fail, you know, and succeed. So this time I succeeded, but like I said many times before, I failed. Third time lucky, you know. I've been fighting guys 10 kilos above my weight just to get on, you know. And today you saw when I boxed, and I'm an accurate fighter. You know, I felt like.
Yeah.
What's that bring up for you? Let's paint a picture, all right? So you're away from your young bloke.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of a fight camp, and your son's taken out of your life, and your mum at the time is suffering her own demons, and Mark now steps up to the plate.
Yeah, look, you know, that was a big moment for me. You know, the fight before that, I got knocked out. Before that fight, me and my partner, now she had a miscarriage. So going into the Rocky Hodgson fight, mentally it was very hard. And then, you know, going into this fight, couldn't see my son, man. And it was a long time, you know, it was breaking down.
It's the...
My mum, you know, going in the psych ward, she had schizophrenia when I was 16. So I witnessed all that. Personality, bipolar, all these different personalities. And when it happened again, I was like, fuck, man, again, you know. I just got her back, you know. And that's why that knockout was just, it was so much weight off my shoulders, because I was like, fuck, man, I did it. I proved everyone wrong, you know, even myself. Sorry.
No, you're right. You have a breather there.
Yeah.
So for the people listening, Mark as a dad, it's the hardest fight to go through it. As a dad and as a man, to have to fight for your kids
Yeah.
and to fight for your reputation. It's the hardest fight I've ever had.
Yeah.
Not only that, you're stepping up to the plate and fighting for your mum, to be a provider, to be a protector,
Yeah.
to be a strong shoulder for her to lean on. Not only that, you've got bills piling up, you got work, and you're being given fights, blokes that are 10 kilos heavier than you,
Yeah.
just so you can jump on a platform.
Yeah.
Then you've got your own demons. You're trying to stay fit and healthy. You're trying to piss Derek off when he's trying to tell you to sleep in.
Yeah.
And you showed up every single day in, day out, you showed up. Tell us, what got you through those days?
This is a lesson for all the young kids that are struggling like this, man. Is this? I had to go to the point, like I was that low mentally. I was like, Mark, I go, all right, man. You got 2 hands, you got 2 feet. You know, you go to bed, like just breaking it down to that 1%. All right, what can I do today? The sun's out, Mark. Go and get some sun. Go and get some grounding in. Go 10 minutes of good self-talk. I love you, Mark. You were going to be great. You were going to be a pay-per-view star. I wrote all this shit down. People don't know, man. Everything I've written down is so true. Write that shit down. The things that you want to become, write it down on a piece of paper. It doesn't matter how stupid it sounds. It doesn't matter who's watching. As long as you think it's going to happen. And you know what? I'm living proof of it. I've had people doubt me. I've had people close to me that fucking turned on me, and, you know, and they're the lessons, you know, all the things that I went through taught me to simplify things. Okay? Just to be like, hey, you're having a shit. Today's a new day, man. All right, yesterday's problem, it's not today's problem.
So we talk about
not today, Derek.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. We externalize that. We talk about Derek. Did you have your Derek moments?
Yeah, man, for sure. You know, like those moments of doubt really seep in, especially when it comes with my son. There's a lot of guilt there where, you know, I was 21, newborn baby. I took the left turn. I wasn't in the right headspace. I was doing everything opposite that I was doing in the lead up, you know, from 11 to 19, 20 years old. I was a supremely disciplined kid, 3-time Australian amateur champion, trained 6 days a week, never partied, worked from when I was 16 full time, you know. And my mum, like I said, in between that time, 16 to 19, 20, you know, I saw my mum just unfold, you know, with her sickness, and I kind of ignored it. I couldn't really process it because I had to protect my little brother at the time. You know, he's got autism, so I had to look after him and put up with my dad, and, you know, he was snipping me with the board and threatened to kick me out. And
so what kept you going? Like,
I just couldn't give up, man. I couldn't give up. I was like, bro, I got to, you know, I said to my mum one time, I said, Mum, leave him. I'll pay all the bills. I was a 2nd year apprentice, but she broke down. She said, I love him. And I said, you know what? And this is another thing, right? Like, you know, my mum, I kind of blamed her too, because I said, you know, you let this happen. You could have been strong for me. You were never strong for me. I had to be strong for you, my brother. It wasn't, you know, and I said to her, you know, I'm giving you an opportunity now to just fucking leave him. I'll work 7 days, Mum. I don't care, you know? And she couldn't do it. So
did the pressure get to you?
It did, yeah. I was, you know, going to work every day. I was breaking down. I didn't really understand it, man. Mentally, I didn't know what was happening to me mentally, because I was run down. Again, I was training. I still wanted to, you know, 6 days a week training roof plumbing, and then training 6 days a week as well. It was fucking hard, you know.
What did the pressure do to you?
Look, the pressure, I got through it because my mentality was strong because of the training, you know. But when I left boxing completely, I kind of imploded bad. And
so the boxing was a fabric holding it all together.
It was the structure,
discipline.
and then once it was gone, that's where, you know, Derek came. You know, Derek fucking rocked up, mate. And it was kind of like maybe a 3-4 year of bad decisions.
So you lose structure,
Yeah.
you lose discipline,
Yeah.
you lose routine, and now you lose what you're fighting for.
Yeah. And I kind of just had nothing for everything that I stood for and everything I was an example of went out the window. You know, I went the other way, rebelled, and kind of just went on a selfish kind of roadmap, you know, of just, you know what, fuck everyone else.
Did you hit
I'm gonna
rock
do
bottom?
what I want. Yeah, man, heaps of times. And, you know, at 21, I was looking at some charges, and, you know, I'm not going to, you know, disclose them here, but they were pretty serious charges. And, you know, my son was just born, and it's like, fuck, man, like.
The beauty of hindsight, looking back at that rock bottom,
Yeah.
what did you learn from that?
With time, things get better. Yeah. It's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? But again, your decisions at that time can dictate the future very dramatically. So, you know, if you have those situations, I would advise the young kids to not act out of emotion, you know, because I was very emotionally reactive. I didn't know how to talk because, you know, it was like, oh, you fucking did this, whack. You know what I mean? Shut your mouth. Fucking don't, you know, go in your fucking, you know, like I didn't want to. So and that's why with the boxing, I had so much built. I was like, yeah, I'll show anyone I sparred, man. And, you know, when I was a young kid, I was sparring men at 50. I didn't care. I loved it because it brought all of that anger and pain out of me, you know, and I got to use it and fucking inflict pain on others, you know. So, but when you grow up and you get older and you know, you're at this, you know, that age from 18 to 21, it's a scary age because when you're that age, you're fearless.
Can I catch that as well?
Yeah.
Just me listening to what you were saying.
Yeah.
About inflicting pain.
Yeah.
Internal anger.
Yeah.
There's a saying that goes, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
I totally understand why you were a hurt person.
Yeah.
And it makes sense why you wanted to hurt others. But the man that I speak to and the man that I spend time with now,
Yeah.
you're no longer that person. So there has to have been an element of peace that's entered your life.
Yeah.
For you to be walking the walk that you
look the peace, you know, the partner that I have now, Rose, she's brought a lot of peace to my life, man, and thank God for her. You know, she's, like I said, man, when I go home, I've got peace, I've got love. So that's something I was missing. You know, when Oscar was born, you know, like I said, my life was chaotic. I was making the wrong choices. And I feel like God, you know, I'm still paying for those choices now, even though, you know, boxing's brought me back to structure and I get to train perfectly. One example is like I train a lot of kids, yeah. I train a lot of kids and their parents come up to them and say, oh my God, Mark, you know, my daughter, my son, they love training with you. Their confidence, it's going up, and, you know, they're coming home with a different personality and they really enjoy, you know, your positive energy and that I love that, but it kills me that I can't give that to my own son, and that, you know, he misses me, and I know what it's like to miss my dad, you know. I still think of my dad now, and when Oscar was born, I was like, I don't need that guy anymore. I got my boy, you know, I'm never going to leave you, Oscar, you know, and that's something I struggle with still today. And, you know, watching his sister now grow up and the things that I took for granted, you know, the first steps, and I wish I could have been a better man then, you know, but again, they're the choices I made, and I've just got to keep getting better as a human being, as a father, And then when I do get him, you know, I'm a better man for it.
That's heavy.
Yeah,
I've walked those shoes.
yeah,
And it always feels like there's never a finish line.
yeah,
You're always like in limbo,
yeah,
waiting for that phone call. And when you're constantly in that waiting game, it just
Yeah, man,
it just consumes your energy. It just completely saps you of
It's
your
been,
energy.
it's been 15 months, man.
Yeah.
15 long months. You know, I haven't heard his voice. And it's just like, you just day by day. You know, some days I just try to block it out. And then there's some days it just fucking destroys me. I can't even look at photos, man. I can't look at photos. I can't. You know, even his name, you know, it just brings a lot of heartache out of my body. You know, it's uncontrollable, and I could only just imagine how he feels. You know, because we're like this, bro. We're like this, and you know, I pray every night that he hears my voice. Because it makes me feel that's enough for me to go to sleep. You know, sometimes I can't sleep, and it's just like, fuck, what have I done? You know, Oscar, I'm sorry, you know.
Without your young bloke, you've now got young daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're making amends there?
Oh, man, it's just the most amazing. I thank God every day when I see her, you know, the smile, just... Like I said, you know, there's little things, you know, I've got so much love at home waiting for me every day. And it's like, fuck, man.
Losing time with a child, I learned a really hard lesson. There's two ways to learn things, the hard way and the harder way.
Yeah.
And for some reason, us blokes, we learn the harder way.
Yeah.
But I learned this lesson when I lost my boys, that I didn't realise at the time what I have. I only realised later down the track what I had.
Yeah.
And I never want to be put in. That's why I live so presently now.
Yeah.
I never want to be in a position where I'm like, shit, I had that.
Yeah.
I want to be the person that says,
Every day,
that.
count every day. Count every day. Anyone that's watching this, count every day. You're truly blessed, you know, and be observant of where you are and who you got.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And like you said, you know, being away from you, my son, you know, it's like, I'm going to make sure, Oscar, you know, I hope he gets to see this one day. I'm going to make sure, son, you know, you're a dad. I'm going to have everything for you, man. You know,
And
everything that you know, because he didn't get the family, you know, but he's got a sister he hasn't met yet, and you know, they're things that he can look forward to. And one of my biggest dreams now, you know, and like you just said, you know, what you had and what you have is like when they meet, you know. So how many parents have kids and they've got brothers and they watch their kids, and I'm sure every parent loves watching them, but that's one dream of mine. That's a dream right now for me. That's not a it hasn't happened yet, you know, and that's something so you would think that could happen, you know, but it hasn't happened. But that's something that I'm looking forward to, and that's something I can work towards and be the best version of myself. So when that does happen, it's going to be a dream come true, you know.
And you're a fighter.
Yeah.
You're not going to roll up in a ball and just... You'll always be a victor. You'll never be a victim.
Look, but you know what? I have been there. I've been there as well, you know, where I didn't know how to cope with certain things. You know, I went, like I said, picked up the bottle, did that, and you know what I mean, to escape reality.
And
So
it's an escape, isn't it? But is that going to bring you closer to seeing the young bloke?
Nah, and you know, and they're the decisions, you know, you wish you didn't make, but unfortunately sometimes you have to go through to realize, hey man, like what the fuck are you doing, man? You know,
you'll appreciate this. You're a boxer. They're wins and losses, or are they wins and lessons?
they're lessons, man. You only now, again, as being a father, you know, all the hardships. I forgave my dad. I said to him, one day, Dad, why were you such a cunt to me, right? and you were a fucking, you know, he goes, you know what, Mark? He goes, and my dad would drink a slab a day, right? He'd drink a slab a day, and he was laying there, he's in the kitchen, he's having a can. He's like, look, Mark, I fucked up with all my kids. He goes, including you. He goes, but your brother's my last chance. And that was enough for me to forgive him and say, you know what? If you fuck, you know, because I've got a sister, she went through similar things. She had a really hard life, harder than me, you know, and he's got kids everywhere. You know, like I said, he used to rob banks, interstate, blah, blah. He's got kids everywhere, mate, yeah?
May I ask a personal question?
Yeah.
Have you forgiven yourself?
Yeah. Oh, look, half and half, because, you know, until I get Oscar back, I really can't forgive myself. You know, there's that guilt there where it's like, fuck, man, I should have been smarter. I should have done this. I should have done that, where, you know, could have led me to him now, you know? But they're the lessons that you've got to take, man. It's like, fuck, I'm not going to say the losses, because, you know.
I do get it, because the lessons I took from it, a big lesson was becoming a get to and a have to dad. So you see a lot of parents or a lot of people in general saying, oh, I have to take the kids to sport.
Yeah.
I have to go to gym today. I have to go to this birthday party. The lessons that I learned was I no longer was a have-to person. I became a get-to person.
Yeah.
Because I understand that it could be taken away from me like that.
100%.
I get to take the kids to sport.
And the wording of it is everything.
100%.
People don't know. It's subtle things like that, yeah? And just saying things the way, I get to, and, you know.
Because there's a different level of gratitude and appreciation.
And it's a domino effect into the universe of positive energy, you know? And it's kind of like, you know, I can't be fucked. And it's like, nah, man, I get to do, all right, yeah, it's a hard day, but guess what? I got to do it. I got to earn some money, blah, blah, blah. Changes the whole dynamic of your thought.
Let's apply that. You've boxed on the world stage.
Yeah.
Let's go to performance. How important are your thoughts when it comes to, you throw the pressure, you throw all the background things that are going on in your life. How important is it to control your thoughts when you got your backs against the ropes?
Look, I've had so much outside shit, outside noise going into fights. I can't even believe, I pinch myself sometimes that I still been able to do it. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where the self-belief it stems from hard work of what you've actually put yourself through and what you actually, like, this is why the training aspect of boxing or any kind of training.
So you got constant self-talk, positive self-talk.
It's like, I know when it gets hard, I can do it. You know, but if you don't have that confirmation of that, you know, fear and doubt can really take over very quickly.
So he's Derek. So he says, oh, look, you know, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
He's bigger than me.
Yeah.
I haven't done enough rounds in the gym.
Yeah.
That's that Derek voice giving that self-talk. Right. What did you do to shut that up?
For me, it was, again, you know, I have a fearless mindset. I have to prove people wrong. And most importantly, I want to prove myself. If that doubt's there, even if I get flogged, I get flogged. At least I do it with pride.
Is that born or taught, that fearless mindset?
I think you have to have that warrior code in you. You know what I mean? Could be from my ancestors in the Philippines, and, you know, because we're pretty indigenous from where I'm from, Tacloban. It's in the middle of nowhere. So it's not like I'm, you know, we're pretty purebred Filipinos, you know. So they had to go hunt for their food and fish for their food and go to the well in the morning, grab their water and do all the traditional kind of stuff. You know, my mum had to do all that shit. So just survive every day. So I feel like my instincts and my natural talent stems from that. But also the mentality side, a lot of people have that warrior gene, but they just don't know. You know, you could be a little bit angry. You could be a little bit on the angrier side, but you don't know where it comes from. You know, the people that are just, you know, they've got that kind of hot, boiling anger, but it's because maybe in your genetic makeup, you have that warrior code more than others.
And
And you need to just direct it into the right
channels.
you know, whether it's wrestling, MMA, boxing, combat. A lot of people forget, man, we're warriors. Most men had to fight. And you know what I mean? Like, we weren't just men and then we had to do nothing to survive. You had to do shit to survive, mate, you know?
And especially where you've come from, you've literally fought for your dreams.
Yeah,
Are they slowly coming true?
they are. One day, one dream at a time. And this is another thing for me. Like, I've never, first it was just to be a boxer. Oh yeah, that was a dream. Or be an Australian champion. I was an Australian champion at 14, right? And I remember when I first told my trainer, Morris, so this is a story, right? This is my first amateur fight, right? I was 13. Anyway, I couldn't afford my medical. You know, my parents were pretty poor. And my trainer went to the fights at the Calabria Club and he goes, oh, do you have $30 for your medical? And I said, nah. He goes, what? He goes, how are you going to pay for your medical? I go, I don't know. He goes, what, your dad didn't give you any money? I said, nah. He goes, fuck, all right. So he sorted it out, whatever. But then he goes, Mark, where is everyone? He goes, I said, what do you mean? And he goes, where is it? Where's all your support? I go, there is no one. He goes, what? No one come to watch you fight? Your first fight? I said, nah. I go, I got you. And that was that moment where my trainer was like, fuck. He goes, why not? I go, they didn't want to buy a ticket. I had no money. And he's like, fuck. And when I said that, I looked 13-year-old boy and I said, I got you, Mozza, you know? And he goes, yeah, you do. And I went out there and won 52 seconds, you know? But that was my norm, you know what I mean? So it's like I wasn't used to, I had to have all these people. I was alone. Fuck, go do it yourself, man, you know? So
are you now becoming the Morris for the future, boys?
100%. You know, if anyone I can help, advise, I've been there, done that. That's one thing my advice and my experiences, I could actually give you the right, like, hey man, if you fuck up, this is what's going to happen. If you do right, this is what's going to happen. Because I've been on both sides.
You've walked the walk.
I've walked the walk, man. It's not just talk the talk. I'm not just sitting there, oh yeah, mate, fucking do this, do that. You'll be like, nah, mate, you fight this way, well, this, you know, you play up here. You know, I've always been an ambitious person, but also I've been, you know, kind of put my hand there, oh yeah, oh, that's not for me, that's not, and then guided myself back to where I need to go. And this is now I'm coming to a point where I'm understanding who I truly am and what I can do and what kind of help and what kind of rent I can give back to the world. You know, because that's what we need to do in life. I've worked it out, man. The rent that you give back in life is what God will remember. You know,
I love that. I love that. I'm going to steal that one.
Yeah, you can steal that one, man. That's a good one.
Your internal fight, is that the biggest fight of your life?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I've learnt more of myself because, again, when I go through those dark times, I just go self-destructive, man. It's like, I just want to fuck up my life. You know what I mean? And it's just like, what am I doing, bro?
And I'm glad that you mentioned your piece before.
Yeah.
Rose.
Yeah.
My favourite movie, it's one of my favourites, The Town, Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's this bloke telling a story about a man walks into a bar and there's a priest.
Yeah.
And he says, I hate to tell you, but there is no God, he says to the priest.
Yeah.
And he goes, how do you know that? And he says, I was out in a storm once. It was a blinding storm. And I had no shelter. I was freezing to death.
Yeah.
And God didn't come and save me. And he goes, well, how? You're here? You're still alive?
Yeah.
He goes, an Eskimo came, took me back to his shelter and, you know, warmed me up. And then he points to his wife and he goes, that's my wife there. I've been with her for 20 years. She saved my life. That's my Eskimo.
Yeah.
And I get goosebumps thinking of it. Yeah. When you tell me about your peace and where you are now and what you've overcome.
Yeah.
Is Rose your Eskimo?
Yeah, 100%. She's my angel, man. So I'm truly grateful to, again, have that love, that support base, and just to have that peace to fuel my ambition, fuel my dreams, but also to have a better life with her, to have a better life for my daughter, my son.
So what's this next chapter look like? Because you've got exciting news coming up.
Yeah, man. I've got, I've got another go. Big shout out to my coach, Gavin Turner. He's played a huge role, on this chapter now that I'm on. Jeff Plunkett is another person that I've known for quite a while now, and he's like a father figure to me as well as helped me. I've got Kyle Hilton, another close friend of mine, Philip Vulick. These people have really helped me in a way of not just a support base of friendship, but brotherhood and, making sure I'm all right. Mark, hey man, you need to talk, or you need help here, or whatever. And
teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, man. And it's reaching out to those important people at times of need that really help you and remind you at times where you are sometimes in the self-destructive. Hey man, this is who you are. That's not who you are. So I'm truly blessed for the people that I have in my life now. And again, there's been people come and go, and you think, oh, these guys are legend, whatever. But again, they're lessons. They're lessons. 6 months from now, I could watch this back and go, I thought I was good then, or I look back and you go, fuck, mate. The growth. You want to be on a constant growth, whether it's on a spiritual level, emotional level, even understanding other people and not judging and being more accepting of others, their beliefs and whatever. You could be stuck on a mentality, and that could stop you from growing and getting an opportunity somewhere else.
Every single person I've had on here, haven't I, Ethan? Every single person that's come on here have all said that people come and go in our life.
Yeah.
And they all bring lessons.
Yeah, for sure.
And you've just reinforced that. I'm looking over here. So you got the Magic Moss, you got the Magic Man. So you got fights coming up.
Yeah.
You got product coming out.
Yeah.
One of my clients is actually using this, and I tried to get some from you today.
Yeah.
Sold out.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone swears by this Magic Moss. They're saying the energy.
Yeah,
it's
look,
just off its head.
This is something I'm passionate about. Me and my business partner Rob, we've created Magic Moss. So if anyone doesn't know about what Magic Moss is, it's sea moss, right? So we get it from the Caribbean island, St. Lucia. So it's got 94 essential minerals. It's good for your heart, thyroid health, your skin. Again, inflammation. There's a lot of benefits. You just got to look it up. And this is my baby, man. You know what I mean? This is something that I want to, from my own experience being a fighter. I don't make a lot of money just yet, but I'm dreaming and I'm hoping one day I can make six figures or seven figures and be a star. And this is something that's going to come up with me. And I'm passionate about, and I believe in, because I know it works, and I know it's going to benefit a lot of people and change their lives. We make the jars, they're $25. The other bigger companies, they're selling their stuff at $30, $40. So we're quite cheap, but we're the same, But
my coaching clients have been swearing by it.
Yeah, it's huge, good for your immune system, cleans out parasites, all that kind of stuff, and it's such a simple, like you wouldn't think, you would not think, But again, the way people farm, and we're losing a lot of minerals from the veggies and all that kind of stuff. Unless you grow it at home, you're not getting many minerals now. So this is just a one-stop shop. The Magic Moss. If you don't take Magic Moss, if you want to feel like a boss, then take Magic Moss. That's our slogan.
All right. Well, I'm going to give that a plug.
Yeah.
I'll pop all the links in.
Yeah, perfect. Magic Moss Australia. You can follow us on Instagram.
Magic Moss Australia. Now, I want to hear about your upcoming fight.
Yep.
Let's get everyone in there. Where are you fighting?
Look, I'm back in Melbourne. Long time coming, man. It's been 4 years now since I fought in Melbourne. I'll be at the Melbourne Pavilion September 13th. The Magic Man returns. Blood and Thunder BTB promotion. So Quincy Armatruda. And yeah, Melbourne Pavilion, guys. So lock it in your diaries, September 13th. I'm pretty sure I'm the main event. So it'll be an opportunity to see me back in action. I'm hoping to get another fight in before the end of the year. And, I want to come back in style.
And your camp's going good? Exciting camp?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to... The camp could have been... It could have been better, to be honest. Like, obviously... There's a few things now I'm in the transition of, but again, like you said, the way you think about it, well, okay, it's not going ideal, but when things are going hard, there's a bigger blessing at the end, and that's exactly where I am now. I've been a bit quiet with work and been struggling with bills, but there's next week it all changes. And then going into this fight, you win this fight, and then bang, and there's another blessing's coming, and it's like, you just got to stick it out sometimes, and sometimes people break in those moments, but you don't know what's on the other side. It's like that photo, there's that photo where the guy's got the pick and he's gone, he's dug all this way, and then on the other side, he's so close to the diamonds. Yeah. He's one pick away, man, and that's exactly where I am right now.
My auntie for my 18th birthday gave me a framed quote, and it says, "A winner is a dreamer who never quits."
Correct.
And I just want to thank you for coming on and sharing your courage.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of guts getting in here.
Yeah.
But as you said in that clip, you lay it all on the line.
Yeah.
For the pursuit of success. Win or lose, you've put it all on the line. And thank you for your courage. Thank you for being an inspiration for young boys and girls. My son's biggest rap for you.
I appreciate it.
He loves training with you.
Appreciate it.
But thank you for being you and just kicking Derek in the ass and saying, "Do you know what? There's more to me than my past." And I'm so proud of you, brother. And I'll be there September
13th.
September 13th.
Yeah, Melbourne Pavilion.
I'll be there.
Thank you.
We'll try to get some tables.
100%.
Before we go,
yeah,
I just want to say thank you one more time because I'm so grateful that you shared your story. What's one bit of advice that you have for the boys and girls listening?
My advice is this, right? So they're worked out, right? What's 4,000 times stronger than love? The vibration stronger than 4,000 times stronger than love is being authentic. So don't grow up thinking you're not as good as these people that you watch on TV and idolize, and you are as great as what you think you are. Remember, being authentic is the highest vibration you can have. And this is why society and the systems, they don't want you to just be you. They want you to be a different, a carbon copy. Don't be a carbon copy. Be you truly, and you will see the blessings. And that's something that I learned. It took me my whole life to work out. But, fortunately for me, I had the opportunity to find that out at a very young age through boxing. So some people might not find that out, but trust me, look in the mirror and tell yourself, hey, man, I'm amazing. I love you, Why can't I do this? You can do this. And then, they're the little 1%ers that will alter your life 100%.
I love that. Be authentic. A winner is a dreamer who never quits.
100%.
Be true to yourself. Thank you for your wisdom and thank you for your story. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Schleibs, the Magic Man. Check out Magic Moss and let's really rally behind our boy for his next fight.
Appreciate it.
Let's really rally behind him.
Blow the roof. Melbourne Pavilion, baby, September 13th.
Let's do it. Hey, give me a hug. Thanks so much,
man. Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for jumping on.
Oh, shit.